Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Prog Report podcast interview. This is Roy. My guests on this episode are Alberto and Greg from Big Big Train. They have a new album on the way called The Likes of Us. Comes out on March 1st. Jeff Bailey joins me on this interview. We get to talk about the new album, the upcoming tour, and a whole lot more. But before we get started, just a reminder, subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on all our socials, and progreport.com. And now our chat with Greg and Alberto from Big Big Train. Well, we're real happy to be talking to you guys. We got Greg and Alberto from Big Big Train, and Jeff is here joining us. We're going to talk about the new album, The Likes of Us, which comes out as we're doing this, just about a month from now, March 1st. Really exciting. We've had a chance to hear the record, obviously, and for some people, they've heard the two singles that have been out. But I want to go back to first start with the shows that you guys were doing was it last summer or towards the end of last year, and just get a feed back on how those went for you, because I think were those the first ones you were doing with the band, Alberto, as like a full real full show, or had you done some before?
Well, we did some shows in 2022.
That's right.
Yeah, we did a couple of shows. It was like supposed to be a longer tour, but strange times, and but this one was a real tour. Like
Right.
we just went out for a month, and it went really well, actually. I think people really liked the shows, and actually I think we enjoyed more than 2022, because there was, of course, a little bit of expectations, and we didn't know what to expect, actually. First time we went to just playing the gig and
Right.
see the reaction of the people, because we had no idea, of course. This time I think we enjoyed a little bit more the gigs, and we had more fun, and we could really laugh on stage. And be,
Greg,
yeah.
how was it for you? Because I mean, the band has never really had a chance to really tour a lot, and you guys seem to, every time you almost get to that point, a pandemic happens, or
Yeah, I
different
know.
things. It's like,
It does feel that way with us. I mean, this is by far and away the longest tour we've ever done. I mean, the tour we did before that, the longest tour before that was 6 shows, and this was 17 shows. So this is a proper kind of tour. It's not 6 months on the road, but it's a month. And yeah, it was great. I mean, it was a challenge for us as a band, because we were stuck in a tour bus together for weeks, and you want to hope that everyone gets on and all those things. And I think we actually got off the tour bus at the end, and we were immediately missing each other rather than the other way around.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was pretty nice for me. I just think, as Albie said, it was a blast, really. And even me, I'm kind of been a nervy kind of gig guy in recent, actually since the start of the band. And even I was kind of relaxing halfway through the tour. But actually it was, I've always, I have to be honest, you kind of, we got through the 3 shows that we did the previous year, and I think we were still finding our feet a bit, and we were still unsure how people were taking to us as a new lineup. And but I feel on this tour that any uncertainty in the band and any uncertainty in the audience just disappeared as the tour went on. And I think it was interesting for me, standing at the back of the stage. I watched Alberto kind of just grow into this frontman role, and he found the kind of confidence just to be himself and do crazy things like running off the stage and running around the auditorium at a couple of things, things like that. That I genuinely, they were not rehearsed. They
No.
were
like, oh no, what have we done?
Yeah, I know. So it was just like, oh, okay, so it's going that way, is it? But of course, I think then we all start smiling on stage, and then I think the genuine kind of love within the band for each other transmits to the audience. So yeah, it was a steep learning curve for us all as a new unit, but it went really, really well. Yeah, really,
Yeah,
really.
I'm gonna let Jeff chime in here in a little bit, but I just wanted to kick off sort of the questions with the new album, and just get that going. When when did the plan get put into place to start working on a new record? Was it sort of after those first few shows, or you know, the plan was right away after Welcome to the? I mean, of course, you had David's passing, which threw everything into question. But when did you decide? Okay, well, let's do a new album now and start writing it and working on it. When did that happen?
Well, I think we right away we just had an exchange of a couple of ideas just to see, because the story was that, of course, they like Greg and the other guys they weren't looking for a songwriter. It was just a singer, for like a vocalist for the band. So, but I think right away we just have an email exchange, and Greg asked me, like, do you write something, or do you have some material or something? So I think back then was like the first couple of ideas and stuff. And actually, on my auditions, my audition, there was two. I sang in on two songs that are on the album.
Right.
So
Yeah.
a couple of songs were already there, and then we really did it. Like,
Yeah, I think I
yeah,
think thinking about it, by the time we'd done the 3 shows, we had in 2022, we had most of the shape of the album. In fact, we did a sort of call out for songs, really. Who's got what and what are we writing about and all those
yeah,
things. And I think there was something like 2 hours of material that was available. But the most important thing for us, especially me and Albie, was this needed to be. I mean, this album has to be a strong statement because of what's happened to us. We cannot come out half cock on this. So we were really absolutely
Right.
determined to make this the strongest album that we could do, as a new start. So we it wasn't a question of saying, oh, these are the best hour of songs. It was a question of saying, right, this is. In fact, we came out, I think, with about 45 minutes of material that hung together really well, and it seemed to work as a cohesive whole. But it was then time to write some more as well. I think we felt there were a couple of things that we needed to add to it.
yeah,
Again, I'm trying to think of the chronology here, but I was in Rome for a couple of months, and I wrote most of the longest track out there. And Albie suggested that we needed a track at the top of the album, an overture thing, which I said, "Yep, go for it, write it," because it's really hard to do those things. So he put together the first track, and again, that adds for me that just adds the cohesiveness of this set of songs. This is not just a bunch of tunes that we had hanging around. This is a cohesive set of material, and we've really thought this through. And I would say to people, even sort of musicological people, that they'll listen to this 10 or 15 times, and then they'll spot some of the motifs that are planted quite deep in there. It's musically probably our most complex album, and it's really has been thought through very carefully. We tried to do the very best that we can
Yeah.
to make
yeah.
this album.
You've almost semi-answered the question I was going to ask, but to slightly take that part of the discussion a little bit further, you said lots of people submit ideas. You go through and select it. I suppose is there anything particularly different about the mix and blend? Because I guess probably if you look back at some of the albums from 3, 4, 5 albums ago, it was pretty much a Greg song,
Yeah.
and a David song. What's that transition been like?
Yeah, it's been well. I mean, I didn't, as Albie said, I didn't know he was a writer even, and that wasn't the that wasn't part of the job description. So it's been a complete blessing to me that he is a strong writer, and in fact he's written, one of the lead singles on the album, which will be coming out in February, and which we played last year, and that's him. I helped him with some of the words, but I could the strength of the material that he was bringing to us, I was like, wow, absolutely blown away. So we found some sort of solid gold here when we recruited him. But it didn't. But the nicest thing of all for me, I've been doing Big Big Train a long time, is that Alberto knows instinctively, I think, what works for Big Big Train and what doesn't. And we're going to evolve as a band. We'll do different stuff, and we're not going to stay locked in one particular mindset. Not every album we make will sound like this one, but I think he instinctively knew, okay, these songs, or this song I've got, will work with Big Big Train. I'm going to write a piece, Miramare, that will work with Big Big Train. So I think he's got a very clear understanding of what we needed as a band on this album to make it, or to help to make it as strong as it could be. And it needed some of my writing, of course it did, because my musical DNA has been there from the start, so it's got to have some of that. But we've got bits from NDV, and we've got bits from everybody really, and that's the other beautiful thing, is that because we recorded the album all in a room together, it's even if people haven't got writing credits, they've got arrangement ideas, and they've got their own musical stamp on it. It's a proper band effort. It's not a bunch of guys sharing files from hundreds of miles apart.
We get a lot more of somebody saying, "Hey, how can we try this?" Right, and then all of a sudden,
and that's exactly what happened. We stopped. We'd stop in the middle of a song and, hey, let's try it this way. And
a lot of a lot of reprises just happened in the studio, where someone said, "Oh, wait, stop here. Can you play that phrase from the other song here in this arrangement? Oh, that's incredible. Okay, let's do it." So it really happened. There was like, we had like demos that were pretty complex, like they were pretty done, but actually in the studio everything just was completely open, and we just found all the pieces and the dynamics and the arrangements for the album.
So Alberto, whenever you all left that initial session in Italy, then what did you leave with, and what happened after that?
Well, I mean that musically or generally.
Well, I suppose, I assume it wasn't. There were some things recorded, some things mapped out, but presumably stuff then added afterwards.
Well, I think like 90% of what we recorded there, it's what you are listening on the album, and then. And then, of course, there was a couple of cut and paste here and there, and there was like a couple of re-recordings at home, some vocals, some backing vocals. Like, we tried to record most of the backing vocals together in a room, so they're like with 5 microphones in a room facing each other, and sing it like the Beach Boys or the Beatles or something. Like that was the vibe of the thing. So, but of course there was like something was not really written at the time, so a couple of stuff we did it like after the recording. But I mean most of the stuff was recorded there together, and I recorded the vocals. It was like a couple of weeks after the instrumental recording. I think I was when I was not playing something, I was singing like just the vocals, just to like a reference, just for the others to have a reference during the recordings. But then I recorded the actual vocals. And
I came back out for that.
Yeah, of course. Because you don't like Italy, Greg.
I love it. Yes, I can't
Yeah.
you know, I had
That
that
was an
phone call. Could
excuse.
you pop back out and you know, help with the recording sessions? And I'm like, I was already at the
Oh, well, you
on
got
the
to
way
do
to
what
the
you got to
airport
do.
before you
Yeah.
go.
You're
Ah,
punching
yeah.
in.
Yeah, exactly. So we recorded the vocals in the same studio with the same engineers, but Albie wanted me there. I think just to kind of, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got an Italian singer fronting quite an English sounding band here, singing in English, and it was important to Albie that you know that it sounded authentically in English, and so to be honest, I wasn't engineering or anything. I was there
No.
just to kind of say, actually, just check your pronunciation of that
It
and
was it
stuff.
was it was for the same reason that we were together in the room recording the vocals with Greg in the room. It was so faster
Yeah,
because I was just there, and if I was missing something or the pronunciation was not really accurate, just Greg just it was there, and he's just, can you
Yeah.
do this? Yes. So
yeah.
it's done
It was
immediately.
it was
Right.
It
quick.
was really faster to
Yeah,
do
so
the
much
like
faster,
that.
right?
Wow, yeah, it was, and you can have the moment, like you can stay in the moment and in the in the moment of the song, because it was quite emotional to I think the vocal recording was really emotional to do it. So we really stayed there, and if it was
Yeah,
like a word or something, you can just do it like
yeah,
like right there. So
yeah,
it was really important, I think, and I think
yeah. I
you
totally agree. It
can
was.
hear it.
Yeah, you can hear the emotion on the record for me, and I can, in fact, I can remember some of the bits where we all of us got a little bit, you know, sort of bottom lip of tremble going, which is important
Yeah,
because it is an emotional album, and the music is emotional, and therefore to understand that the people recording it are actually caught up in that. You know,
Mm.
nobody was, you know, nobody in that room was doing anything other than trying to do the very best and to put their heart and soul into this album. And everybody says that, but you know, this was a real moment for me where we were not on autopilot at all. No, in fact, not at any stage in this album was there any autopilotness. It was all, you know, let's do the very best. Let's be the very best we can here.
I
Well,
think
for me,
two of
oh,
the
I'm sorry. Go
things
ahead,
that
Joe. Sorry.
two of the things that stand out for me, just concluding that, I think, you know, the harmonies in this album are amazing, you know, so
Yeah.
it's incredible as well to hear that they were, you know, largely recorded together.
Yeah.
I think there's an awful lot of incredible moments where it's pretty much Alberto's vocal and not a lot else going on, maybe a 12 string or something very light. And I think there's something really authentic sounding about you know, about those moments where that emotion really comes through. So it's interesting that that was something guys were striving for, because it's something certainly I picked
yeah.
up from listening to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was, yeah. You know, even thinking back on it now makes me a bit emotional feeling. Really, it was a really heartfelt session. You know, I mean, the session with the band, all the band together, I think was full of fun and joy and all those things. But when we came to do the individual vocal, the lead vocal lines, because as Albie said, we did a lot of the group stuff together. Then that was when, you know, it's that connection between the singer's voice and expression and the tone and the timbre and the notes and the melodies and the harmonies. That's when people really connect with music for the most part. Yeah, there's sometimes an instrumental passage you can get that, but for the most part in rock music, that's when it really hits home. And you know, the studio engineer Fulvio was you know, he's an older guy. Perhaps he'll be listening to this. He's an older guy, but he's been around a bit, and even he was a little bit bottom lip trembling at times. You know, he was
oh yeah,
kind of
he was.
he kind of chain smokes his way through the sessions,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it
you
was
know,
with a cigarette,
yeah, that's
yeah, all the
right. But
time.
a
Yeah,
couple of times he was, you know, there was
he
like
was.
silence, and then you could sort of hear a little sniffle.
Oh yeah.
Because it was, you
Well,
know, we're making light of it, but it was a really, you know, it was quite a few days.
look,
For
for
sure.
me, your guys' music, every album really has been that for me. It's sort of an emotional type of listen, whether it's an epic like Brave Captain or you know Swan Hunter or anything.
I mean
There's
that,
always random
yeah,
songs that this band has that thing about it, and that absolutely was still carried through on this album, which I think was
I've
great.
always said if it ain't got the ting, I mean, you can have a band that plays just incredibly brilliantly technically, but if it hasn't got a tingle factor, it doesn't mean diddly squat to me. You know,
Yeah.
if it's great having technical playing, and we've got that on the album, but you've got to have that emotional content, because that's where music speaks to the soul and the heart. You know, that's the crucial thing for me. So when we were auditioning, I've told the story before, but when we were auditioning with Alberto, my wife walked into the room when I was just listening to some of the different voices, and she just stopped in the tracks when she heard Albie and said, "Oh, that one." Because
There you go. That's it.
It was my photo there, of course.
Well, I mean,
It's not the vocals. It's my photo.
You haven't seen the photo at the time.
All right.
The thing with my wife, bless her, is that she's not a prog head. You know, she just likes good music. And that was the moment, the stopped in the tracks that made that she thought, oh, there's an emotional connection here with the music. I can hear the singers really got an emotional connection here. So I mean, I was already convinced by that stage, but that was that sort of, you know, blind test, because you hadn't seen a photo, that that, you know, it's like, okay, we're onto something here, you know.
Well, I want to bring up one song, because the song that does that for me is actually, I think, the one that's got coming out soon that you talked about, and I guess it's you wrote this, Alberto, which is "Love Is the Light."
Yeah.
Because that song is just maybe one of the best ballads you guys have ever written, I
Yeah.
think, and it's just breathtaking. But the moment in there that gets me every time is after, I think it's after the first verse or first chorus, there's the pause, and then
Oh, yeah.
the woes come in with the chorus, and that's just like, oh man, that is like the hammer dropping hard, you know? It's so good, so
Oh,
beautifully done.
oh, thanks. Well, that was actually maybe sometimes we will release the original demo of that song. It was completely like I wrote that song before the Big Train thing. Completely, it was like completely another kind of song.
Wow.
With a completely another arrangement there, but the whoa, whoa, whoa was there.
Okay.
So that is genuine and original. It was on the song. But then when we talk like with Greg, like, do you have a couple of some song to share and something? I said, like, I have this song, but I don't know, maybe can be something. So I just stripped down the version completely, and it was like a piano and vocals and mellotron version.
I was immediately sold.
Of course.
Right.
And I sent it to Greg, and I said, well, maybe there's something here. So then I okay, we got something. So I wrote the middle eight where the solo's going. So there is like a little movements there, and I did the arrangements that were a little bit more Big Train-esque there. And I remember when we were on the last tour, we recorded the song, and we listened to the song. Okay, it's good. Everybody was happy, and then we rehearsed the song before the tour for the tour, and it was okay. It sounds okay. It's good. Like, everybody's happy and it's going. But the first gig, I remember when we played that song, the song started, I just realized, I said, well, we are playing one of my songs.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay. And so I was just looking, oh my God. Okay. So we did it, and when the oh started, everybody was singing, and so I think I just look at Greg's and all the guys said, I think okay, okay, this is working.
It works.
So we can play it again. So
no, it's fantastic.
So
it's so good.
yeah.
I get, there's a lot of high notes to get in that song as well. So
there is, yeah. Though it was not there actually in the there was not a finale there. So
yeah,
I said, well, I think I had to do something there. So
yeah, cool.
the high note. Good.
A question from you both, and I suppose with Alberto was relatively new to the band and Greg there from the start. What would you say was the biggest challenge in creating this album?
Ooh.
Good question. I don't. Well, I mean, I'm not wimping out of this, but I felt this was it was actually a really easy album to make. You know,
It was, yeah.
it felt very organic. It felt very woody. It was good fun. It was emotional. What was the biggest challenge? I didn't. You know, I think just getting to the stage where getting the band back to the stage where, you know, feeling we're doing exactly the right thing to be carrying on was emotionally my biggest challenge because of what I'd been through with the loss of David. So that was important to me, and you know, I touring before the album was useful as well because I could see that people were warming to Alberto and all that. But making it, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's been an easy album to make because I didn't mix it.
Well, I was saying that I mixed it with Rob Aubrey.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the challenging thing.
For me, this has been a blast.
You
know, I mean, previously I've had a lot more. You know, I've been a lot more involved in day-to-day mixing. You know, Rob's tweaking the knobs, but I'm kind of micromanaging it. But in this one, my instinct was actually just to let Alberto do it with Rob, and you know, and that was a good instinct to follow because I wanted it to feel a little bit different, but also let Alberto show what he can do. So yeah, maybe I'm the wrong person to answer that. I mean, I think the mixing thing was difficult because you were preparing for the tour, weren't you? At the same time,
it was at the same time. Yeah. Well, the mixing actually was not really long because I mean Rob is amazing. So what I was receiving as a base, like the first mix of songs already was sounding great. So the mixing thing was really like more of a producing thing. So choosing where put stuff around, and maybe and there was like big decisions of course, like the vocals, what we're gonna do with the vocals, like do we like it, if you listen to the album, the vocals are pretty dry, and there's a little bit forward, like it's not, the vocals are not hidden in the mix, and that was actually a decision that we made, because I mean there was no reason to hide, and it was like a really important thing to put forward, and it was like, this is actually we're trying the best to keep the train going, and we're not hiding behind something, that this is what it is, and here we are, and this is Big Big Train. So we are together on the train. So I mean,
right.
Yeah.
No, it sounds amazing, but I did want to ask before I forget, because it was on my mind. The title of the album, "The Likes of Us," it seems very deliberate, and obviously along with the artwork. I'm just curious about the title of the album and how that all tied in together.
So I think we threw a few ideas around for titles. I thought that that was the one that resonated with us, I think. In England, there's it's a kind of phrase from the 70s or 60s or whatever, where you're sort of putting yourself down. Jeff will know this. You know, you say, well, oh, that's not for the likes of us. My mum would say that, you know, she'd say, well, that's not for the likes of us. And so it felt to me a bit resonant because we'd signed to Inside Out, and as being a kind of very independent band all these years, it felt almost like sort of a bit self-deprecating. But also, most importantly, that there was a double meaning, and the double meaning is that the songs are much more personal than we've done before. I mean, there's one story song on there, Miramare, but the rest of it is pretty much about us as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like the fact that it was a self-deprecating reference to something that people used to say in the 70s or whatever, but also this album is about it's about us, this is us. And Sarah's painted, there's a couple of songs and they refer back to our younger lives and childhood and stuff, and so Sarah picked up on that sort of almost young group of friends together sort of mentality for the artwork. So yeah, that's the birth of it.
Oh, cool.
What I really like when there was the title there, I remember that it is actually also like a statement, I think. Like it's the likes of us. It's like it's us. Like we are on the, like as I said, like on the same train or on the same boat. We are trying to do our best, and we are on the same. We are together with the audience too. So I mean, we try to do the best album that we could, and it's a new thing for everybody. So
Right.
This is I think also the meaning.
Great. Something else that's new about the album. You've got 5.1 and Atmos mixes added in. I'm a big 5.1 fan. I haven't been allowed to put speakers in the roof yet. Maybe someday, but
next step.
So, can you tell us about? I mean, I assume that's something you were involved in creating, and what tell us about that. What to expect in that.
Well, I think Albie's still working on some of the Atmos is quite a complicated beast, isn't it? And I think we're still working actually on some of the
binaural,
the streaming Atmos.
The binaural stuff, yes, with Broussard.
Yeah. But the sort of Blu-ray version of it was all Bruce. I mean, I went to his studio and signed it off. And the funny thing with Bruce was that Bruce was when I think of Bruce, I think of him as a kind of indie prog kind of guy. But I went there, and it turns out he's a huge Anthony Phillips fan. So we were both chatting for half an hour about 12-string guitars and mellotrons. And so I thought, okay, here's a kindred spirit. He knows, he understands Big Big Train, and was setting things in the mix, which I thought was great. It's not gimmicky. It's not flying around. It separates things out. So I sat in the middle of his studio and listened to it. In fact, we were up, me and Rob and then manager Nick Shilton were up at Sony just a week or so ago, just checking through the mixes in various environments, because we've got a playthrough thing happening in late February, and so we're just sort of checking those mixes out. But it's been great, a really good experience. We've never done a studio album before in Atmos or in 5.1. We've done live Blu-rays before, so it's been a really nice thing. And yes, I have just placed an order for some speakers in the roof.
Speakers in the roof.
Naughty boy.
That's a song title.
I know. My wife has been amazing about this.
I like mono.
Well, yeah. I mean, Albie's an old Beatles fan, so
really, that's amazing.
Probably not lying about it.
Sorry.
No, my wife was just concerned that the speakers only come in black, and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
No, well, actually, it is quite an experience. I went to a studio here nearby, my friend's studio that has the Atmos thing, and actually, it's a really weird feeling, because it's not like 5.1 from my point of view. I don't know. It's not quite. You don't have actually stuff going on every speaker and stuff. You are just like really like is a really an immersive situation. And we listened to the last Peter Gabriel thing. Oh my God, this is that it's out, like it's really crazy. But it's not crazy like you have weird stuff. If you listen to the stereo thing and you listen to the Atmos, it's just like you are into like a ball. I don't know. It's weird.
I gotta check
Right.
it out. I haven't had a chance
Oh,
to
you
hear
did.
it.
Oh, you
I-
have
No,
to.
I haven't. I don't know where to
It's-
go to around where I am to hear.
I
it.
went to
Crazy.
one of Stephen Wilson's playbacks
Oh, yeah.
of his last, and the thing about it is that it's a weird sensation of being in, you know, a venue that looks like it should be for a concert, but there's nothing to look at. But
Yeah.
actually you become immersed in the music, and it's a really, really unusual experience. It's very different from just, you know, we
Yeah.
all will sit down and listen to music,
Yeah.
but it's a really interesting,
It's a
experience.
different experience, and we listened to the Steven Wilson too there, and like a classical thing that was actually recorded for the Atmos. So the microphones are, well, it's a little nerdy here. The microphones are in the middle, and the orchestra, it's actually on a circle.
Oh, wow.
So it's not that you have like stuffing, as I said, like popping from the speakers. You are just in the middle of
It's
the
just all
orchestra.
around. It's just all around.
Oh my god, that was
that's gotta be cool. It's gotta be
goosebumps.
cool.
That was goosebumps. Yeah, it was really crazy. But I like mono better.
Before we let you guys go, I just want one quick question here about you're finally coming to the States. We got Cruise to the
Yay.
Edge, which I will be on with you guys, and finally get to see the band and hang out in person. And then of course you got a few shows here in the U.S. coming up, so that's got to be exciting. Anything cool to say about that, or what fans can expect, or what we can look forward to?
Well, it's hard to get there because we've all had to go to American visas,
My God,
American
yes.
embassies to get our visas sorted. So that's been a bit of a kerfuffle. But I think we're all done now. I think we've all
Yeah, I
got
think we are
everything
done. Yeah.
sorted,
We are allowed to.
But yeah, your immigration team don't make it easy to come over as a band.
Yeah.
But no, we're really excited. It's a first for me to play in the States, and
I have this shirt. This is from the last
Hey.
attempted tour that never happened.
Oh,
excellent.
So
And then we got new shirts, and it's a really cool bit of branding actually for the US tour.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait for people to see that. It's really nice.
cool, awesome.
So I'm hoping. Yeah, I mean, we're tipping our toe in the water. I don't think that many people know about us in the States. So we need to build the audience. We need to work on it, and we're going to do our very, very best to play some good shows. Yeah, so we're
Awesome. Can't
Yeah,
wait,
the
man.
cru-
Can't wait to
yeah,
see
the
you guys,
cruise.
say hi, and see the show. I'm so excited.
The cruise will be fun.
Your cruise is a blast. Yeah, it's going to be great. Again, The Likes of Us comes out on March 1st. A couple of singles out now. Maybe by the time we air this, Love is the Light will be out. I'm not sure when the timing of that will line up, but the whole album's amazing. Congrats, guys. We're so happy you're still going and with a new record and everything's going. And you found a great looking singer. So there you go.
Well, the bass player's not so bad.
Also, the bass player is not that bad.
All right. Well, have a good night, guys. We'll talk soon.
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us wherever you get your podcast, check us out on all our socials and on progreport.com for all your news, interviews, reviews, and more. And we'll see you again real soon. Thanks.